Hello and thanks for joining Ogun State Television News at 8. I am Adibola Oshomuji. On the news, National Economic Council pushes for stronger non-oil revenue drive, sets up panel for Tinubu's legacy project. Federal government establishes a task force on clinical governance, patient safety. EU removes Nigeria from high-risk financial list. And on the foreign scene, South Korean court jails ex-president 5 years for obstructing justice.
And on business news, petrol imports hit 1.3 billion naira liters despite low crude production. I bring you details of this and others on the business segment of the news. I am Olayemi Takuro. Stay with us.
And on sport news tonight, Super Eagles of Nigeria shake off AFCON semi-final loss at target a third place finish. This and more much later on the news. I am Moses Ojewumi.
You cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today. And don't forget that you can join us live on our website, www.ogtv.com.ng/live. For the latest news and reports, check us on these platforms: X at Ogun TV, Facebook, Ogun State Television, YouTube at OGTV Abeokuta, TikTok at Ogun State Television. And now to the news. The National Economic Council, NEC, has resolved to deepen engagement with stakeholders to boost non-oil revenues in line with the economic blueprint of the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Chairman of the Council, Vice President Kashim Shettima, called for an accelerated transition from oil to a non-oil economy through competitive manufacturing, export diversification, and private sector investment. The Council also approved the constitution of a committee on implementation of the President's directive on the actualization of legacy project. The committee is to be chaired by the Governor of Cross River State, with one governor from each sub-region as member: Northwest Sokoto, Northeast Gombe, North Central Niger, Southeast Abia, and Southwest Lagos. The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning, Deborah Odo, will serve as secretary to the committee, while the Ministers of Work and Transportation will also be members. NEC decisions were taken during its 156th meeting and first of the year, held virtually, following a presentation of the economic priorities for 2026 by the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun. The federal government has established the National Risk Force on clinical governance and patient safety to strengthen service delivery and improve health outcomes in the country. The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Hamad Pate, announced this in Abuja. According to him, the initiative is in furtherance of President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda for the health sector. Pate said the task force was created to support the development and operationalization of sustainable clinical governance and patient safety structures, standards, and accountability mechanisms across Nigeria's health system. According to him, the initiative aligns with global calls by the World Health Organization, the World Bank, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, and the Lancet Global Health Commission for low and middle income countries to prioritize high quality, people-centered care beyond access alone. The minister said the work of the task would contribute directly to the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals, particularly Goal 3.8 on access to quality essential health services, and support the objectives of the Nigeria Health Sector Renewal Investment Initiative. Many Nigerians have expressed their opinions about oral hygiene, emphasizing its importance for overall health, while warning that neglecting regular dental care could lead to serious health issues. Dentist experts shared their views on how often they brush and ways to maintain their oral health. Olaide Oloye reports.
Oral hygiene is said to be an individual thing, but few truly prioritize it. Dentists say that brushing twice daily, flossing, and regular dental checkups are essential for maintaining healthy teeth and gums. Despite growing awareness, many still lack proper knowledge of oral hygiene practices. A recent survey by the Nigerian Dental Association revealed that only about 40% of Nigerians visit the dentist at least once a year, with no objections. Dr. Dele Anishere, a registrar CEO Dental Therapists Registration Board of Nigeria, maintained that poor oral hygiene can lead not only to bad breath and cavity, but also to more serious health issues such as gum disease, heart complications, and infections.
When you wake up in the morning, the first thing to do is not to wash your teeth or to brush your mouth. The first thing to do is to rinse your mouth after eating in the morning before you brush your teeth. That's the ideal way. Then it is expected that everyone should go to clinic for checkup 6 months, every 6 months, that's twice a year, to remove the debris, the calculus, and the plaque, which can travel into your heart and cause cardiovascular disease.
From the responses gathered, it is clear that awareness about oral hygiene exists, but consistent practice remains a challenge. Experts urge the public to make oral care a daily priority, not just for a bright smile, but for better overall health.
Brushing daily is not the way. You are supposed to brush or floss after each meal. That is the standard, because you have particles of food and debris in your mouth, and the bacteria, the normal bacteria, feed on those things, and eventually they becomes pathogen to you. They were supposed to be something that benefits you, but if they happens to feed on those debris, they become pathogenic, and that's why you have all these cavities, mouth odor, and whatnot. So the philosophy of oral hygiene is to brush after each meal. If you cannot do that, you have to do that at least twice a day.
Brushing twice daily, yes. I think I believe in it, even though sometimes, personally, it can be like you come home, you're very tired, all you just want to do is jump in the bed and rest. But if it's something you can do, just like we, as ladies, we remove our makeups before going to bed, you could just have a floss, or a mouthwash, to just dangle your mouth, or you go all the way to have your toothbrush. And so I'm a believer of the morning, night kind of brushing.
Olamide Odunto, a dental technologist, stressed that gum disease and tooth infections can affect the heart and other organs if left untreated.
Aside from brushing daily, we always encourage flossing, like using of dental floss instead of toothpick. Toothpick sometimes, it is like wooden, it always causes damage, cause bleeding gum, gives pain. But the dental floss, the way it is designed, does not give any pain whatsoever. So we encourage flossing, using mouthwash, brushing the tongue to prevent mouth odor.
As awareness campaign increase, health advocates hope that more people will recognize that maintaining good oral hygiene is not a luxury, but a necessity for healthy living. Olaide Oloye, OGTV News.
Still on health, infertility is emerging as a growing health concern, with an increasing number of couples struggling to conceive amid changing lifestyles, medical conditions, and environmental factors. Health experts warn that early detection, proper medical care, and open conversations are critical in addressing the rising trend and reducing the stigma often associated with infertility. Aderonke Oladele reports.
Nigeria's population of over 190 million, the highest on the African continent, is projected to hit 397 million by 2050, making it the world's third most populous country after China and India. But there are still thousands of Nigerian couples unable to conceive naturally, and for a long time they suffered in silence. It is a universal phenomenon that both men and women experience. But many Nigerian couples prefer to credit conception from artificial fertility to religious miracle and not admit science is involved.
Take two to tango. Infertility is a problem of a couple and their inability to achieve pregnancy after they've made an attempt over a whole period of a whole year. So we say they are infertile. It has increased from 10% to as much as 12 to 15%, putting in literary way, for every 6 couples or 7 couples, they are not able to get pregnant when they want it.
Happen to anybody, because there are a lot of causes of infertility. And we can have female cause, we have female factor, male factor, and you can have both of them together, or you can even try everything and you won't even be able to find a cause for the infertility.
Beyond this, it can also cause significant distress, stigma, and financial hardship, affecting people's mental and psychosocial well-being.
Refer to maybe there are some unforeseen circumstances, then whereby you need to do some prayer or you need to do some other thing. But most are related to what you can see. And what do I mean by what you can see? That what you can really say that, okay, this is what is causing the problem.
Infertility rate may be increasing, but there are also many effective treatments available depending on the cause of infertility.
When they come around, we do test for them to know the exact cause of their infertility, and in most cases they are amenable to drug therapy.
We tailor the management based on the factor. When is the main factor very difficult to manage, I must say, in some, the best we can do is to revert them for assisted reproductive technique, IVF, in vitro fertilization. These are expensive.
The sheer proportion of people affected shows the need to widen access to fertility care and ensure this issue is no longer sidelined in health research and policy, so that safe, effective, and affordable way to attain parenthood are available for those who seek it.
Anyway, from health, Ogun State Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Professor Abayomi Arigbabu, has charged the school heads, teachers and learners in the state to jealously guide and maintain the facilities donated to their schools in order to encourage other donors to do more. Professor Arigbabu gave this charge at Magjob Grammar School, Onikolobo, Abeokuta, during the turning of swords of the proposed 1 block of 4 classrooms facilitated by one of the old students of the school to be constructed by Build a Classroom initiative in Africa. Expressing satisfaction over the good gesture of the facilitator and the donor, the commissioner noted that if several items donated, such as science laboratories, school gates and gate houses, renovated buildings, chairs and tables, and many more were put in proper use, more donations will come, and that will lead to all-round development of the school.
To be something here. Going to complement whatever government has done and whatever our students have done in the past. I'm going to add to the infrastructure in the school. And as you know, the issue of infrastructure is something we take very seriously in the state. It's one of the pillars of the state education revitalization agenda. It's the 4th pillar of our agenda, infrastructure. And we have done, and I can see something of it here. We have a very good building here. So we have this in all our schools. Those that are still outstanding, we are working on them.
Earlier in our welcome address, the principal of Magjob Senior School, Mrs. Morenike Fadeon, said the initiative will lift the image of the school and aid better learning conditions for the learners. Speaking, the all-student national president, Mr. Abiodun Babajide, applauded the commissioner for promoting unity and encouraging healthy participation among the all-students, promising to always support the government in its revitalization agenda. Anambra State government has introduced 15 entrepreneurial subjects into junior secondary schools curriculum to boost the practical skills and entrepreneurial mindset of students. The subjects that were introduced are solar installation, garment making, GSM repairs, agriculture and processing, plumbing, tailoring, pump installation, event management, bakery, hairstyling, makeup, POP, interior design, CCTV, intercom installation, digital literacy, IT and robotics, among others. In our address during the introduction of the subject held at Igbueke Grammar School, Oka, the chairman post-primary schools service, Professor Nkechi Idekweko, said, today's rapidly changing world, education must go beyond theory and examinations to equip students with practical skills, creativity, innovation, and entrepreneurial mindset. She also pointed out that their goal is to prepare learners not just to seek a job, but to create value, generate employment, and contribute meaningfully to the economic development of Anambra State. Olabisi Onombanjo University at Goiwoye is set to commence the activities marking its 35th convocation ceremonies for the 2024-2025 academic session. The convocation ceremonies, scheduled for Thursday 22nd to Saturday 31st January 2026 at the main campus at Goiwoye, will feature a series of events to be chaired by the Chancellor, Professor Ayodeji Johnson. On Thursday 29th January, the university will award bachelor degrees to graduates from the faculties of Art, Basic Medical Sciences, Education, Law, Pharmacy, and Social Sciences. The convocation train will, on Friday 30th January, confer degree awards on graduates from the faculties of Administration and Management Sciences, Agricultural Management and Rural Development, Agricultural Production and Renewable Resources, Clinical Sciences, Engineering, Environmental Studies, and Sciences. High point and grand finale of the convocation ceremony will come up on Saturday 31st January by 10 in the morning, with the conferment of postgraduate degrees and award of prizes, as well as the conferment of honorary degree of Doctor of Sciences on Mr. Ayo Ojuroye, founder Optimus Bank and chairman Mango Asset Management. On same day, the convocation lecture entitled Repositioning Nigerian Universities as Innovation Hubs for Entrepreneurship and National Development will be delivered by the Honorable Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Dr. Boson Tijani. The visitor to the university and Governor of Ogun State, His Excellency Prince Dakwa Abiodun, is the special guest of honor at the occasion, which is expected to attract distinguished academics, government functionaries, captains of industry, and eminent Nigerians from all walks of life. The university community and members of the public are hereby invited to participate in the ceremonies. Still ahead, Supreme Court upholds conviction of Sule Lamido's sons over undeclared $40,000. More news and reports after this break. Don't go away. Glad to have you on the second segment of the news. In case you just joined us, you're watching OGTV News at 8. Gender-based violence remains a pressing social challenge as women and girls continue to face abuse rooted in inequality, harmful cultural practices, and silence within communities. As efforts intensify to confront the menace, Stakeholders stressed the need for sustained advocacy, stronger legal protection, and collective responsibility to ensure safety and justice for survivors. Aderonke Oladele again reports.
Gender-based violence remains a pressing issue across the globe, affecting millions and undermining the fundamental right and dignity of individuals, particularly women and marginalized communities. According to the latest report from the World Health Organization, approximately 1 in 3 women worldwide has experienced physical or sexual violence in their lifetime. The COVID-19 pandemic exacerbated the situation, leading to an increase in domestic violence cases as lockdowns confined individuals to their homes, often with their abusers. Special Advisor to Ogun State Governor on Women Affairs and Social Development, Mrs. Ayotunde Lawal, emphasized that gender-based violence is not only a human rights violation, but also a public health crisis.
The most insistent one is that of the female violence via sexual harassment, domestic violence, rape, mutilation, and abusive words.
Community organizations are also stepping up effort with campaigns aimed at educating individuals about consent, healthy relationships, and available support systems are gaining momentum.
7% of victims of sexual abuse in Nigeria today are children, ages 0 to 17. From north to south, east to west. This is not a Lagos thing, this is not a Kaduna thing, this is not an Enugu thing. North, south, east, and west.
For me, it's going back to government to say you promised. Declaring a state of emergency is not an end. It's a process. It's actually the beginning of a process.
As the world grapples with this pervasive issue, advocates note that the need for concerted action is clearer than ever.
Equal rights, both for male and female, and we should guard against rape and sexual harassment.
It takes us working with community holders. It takes us working with government, developing policies, laws. It also takes us informing women, letting women, men know what their rights are.
The fight against gender-based violence is ongoing, and while progress is being made, much work is needed. A collective effort is essential to break the cycle of violence and empower those affected, ensuring that everyone can live free from fear and harm. Adirunke Oladele, OGTV News.
The European Union has officially removed Nigeria from its list of high-risk third countries under the EU anti-money laundering and countering the financing of terrorism framework. The removal was contained in the European Commission delegated regulation adopted on December 4, 2025, in line with update by the Financial Action Task Force from its October 2025 plenary. According to a statement by the Nigeria Financial Intelligence Unit, the regulation, which takes effect from 29 January 2026, also confirms the removal of Burkina Faso, Mali, Mozambique, South Africa, and Tanzania from the EU high-risk list, following their successful exit from the FATF list of jurisdictions on the increased monitoring after addressing identified strategic deficiencies. Nigeria's removal from the EU list reflects the strong political will and leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, whose administration prioritized financial system integrity, interagency coordination, and compliance with international standards. The achievement is also the result of sustained collaboration among key stakeholders, including the National Assembly, law enforcement agencies, regulators, supervisors, the judiciary, the private sector, and development partners. In an increasingly competitive global trade environment, this listing further strengthens Nigeria's positioning as a reliable economic partner, reinforcing Europe's role as a key destination for Nigerian export and a source of investment in financial services. The Rivers State House of Assembly has written to the Chief Judge of the state, Honorable Justice Simon Amadi, requesting him to constitute a 7-man panel to investigate the allegations of gross misconduct leveled against the governor of the state, Siminalayi Fubara, and his deputy, Professor Ngozi Madu. The letter came when the House resumed its plenary at the conference within the legislative complex on Aba-Port Harcourt Expressway. It will be recalled that the House had earlier held a press briefing during which it resolved to proceed with the impeachment proceedings against Addo, noting that the governor and his deputy are adamant and incorrigible. However, the House, in a letter signed by its Speaker, Honorable Martin Amuele, said the move was in pursuance of Section 188, subsection 5 of the Constitution of Nigeria 1999 as amended. Meanwhile, River State High Court sitting in Port Harcourt has barred the Chief Judge of the state, Justice Simon Chibuzo Amadi, from receiving or acting on any correspondence from the Rivers State House of Assembly relating to moves to impeach Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy, Professor Ngozi Madu. The order was issued by the High Court of Oyibo local government area sitting in Port Harcourt following 2 separate suits filed by Governor Fubara and his deputy. In the interim orders of injunction, the court restrained the Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Mr. Martin Amuele, and the 32 others, including the clerk of the House and the Chief Judge, from taking any steps towards the impeachment process. Specifically, the court barred Justice Amadi from receiving, forwarding, considering, or acting on any request, resolution, articles of impeachment, or any form of communication from the first to the 27th defendant for the purpose of constituting a panel to investigate the alleged misconduct against the governor and his deputy for a period of 7 days. The presiding judge, Justice Fibiresima, gave the ruling while granting motions ex parte in the suit filed by the governor and his deputy. Justice Fibiresima also granted leave to the claimant applicant to serve the interim orders and originating processes on the first to the 31st defendant by passing them at the gate of the Rivers State House of Assembly quarters. The Supreme Court has dismissed an appeal by Aminu Sule Lamido, son of former Jigawa State Governor Sule Lamido, challenging the forfeiture of $40,000 to the federal government. A 5-member panel of the Apex Court, led by Justice Nyang Okoro, ruled that the appeal lacked merit, affirming the decisions of the lower courts. In a unanimous judgment delivered by Justice Amadu Jaro and read by Justice Abubakar Sadiq Kumar, the court said the appeal was doomed to fail and formally upheld the forfeiture of the funds to the federal government. The case dates back to December 11, 2012, when Aminu was arrested at Malam Aminu Kano International Airport while preparing to travel to Cairo, Egypt. He had declared $10,000 to the Nigeria Customs Service, but was found in possession of $50,000 in cash. He was arraigned on February 4, 2013, before the Federal Court in Kano on a 1-count charge of false declaration of foreign currency under the Money Laundering Prohibition Act and related laws. In Friday's ruling, the Supreme Court held that appeal lacked merit on all grounds, leaving intact the forfeiture order. The court further affirmed that both the Federal High Court and the Court of Appeal properly evaluated the evidence and delivered judgment in line with the law. From routine patrols to a higher responsibility, it is a moment of reward and renewed duty for officers of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps in Ogun State. Speaking at the 2026 decoration ceremony for promoted officers, Ogun State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun urged them to see the elevation in rank as a call to greater discipline, professionalism, and commitment to security in the state. Olaide Oloye reports.
The Ogun State Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps decorates newly promoted officers in a colorful ceremony held to formally recognize the elevation in rank. The 2026 decoration ceremony, which took place at the command headquarters in Abeokuta, attracted senior officers of the corps, government officials, family members, and well-wishers who gathered to witness the symbolic event. Decorating the officers, the Ogun State Commandant of the NSCDC, Commandant Remilekun Ekundayo, describes the promotion as a reward for dedication, discipline, and meritorious service to the nation. She congratulates the officers and urged them to see the new ranks as a call to air responsibility, professionalism, and sustained commitment to the protection of lives and critical national assets across Ogun State.
For the newly promoted officers, I congratulate you most sincerely. Your decoration today is a clear acknowledgement of your dedication, sacrifices, and commitment to duty. However, it must be emphasized that higher rank comes with higher responsibility.
Governor Dapo Abiodun, represented by the Special Advisor on Security Matters, AIG Olushola Subar, retired, while leading other heads of security agencies, reminds the officers that promotion comes with greater expectations, stressing the need for integrity, loyalty, and strict adherence to the rules guiding the corps.
On behalf of the Governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, CON, I congratulate all the newly promoted personnel and encourage others to remain steadfast, diligent, and professional, as hard work and dedication are always rewarded.
In the face of the evolving security challenges, you must remain vigilant, proactive, and committed to continuous training and self-improvement.
Some of the newly decorated officers expressed gratitude to the management of the corps for the confidence reposed in them, pledging to rededicate themselves to duty and uphold the core values of the NNCDC.
This exam for 4 good consecutive years. So when this one finally came, I said, oh God, thank you God for remembering me, for showing me mercy. I will maintain 100% loyalty to the organization.
I am very, very happy. The pledge is to continue to support the government at all levels, and that in any capacity that I find myself, I will continue to work assiduously, tirelessly.
The ceremony reached its peak with formal pinning of new ranks on the officers and goodwill messages marking another milestone in the career progression of personnel within the Ogun State Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps. Olaide Oloye, OGTV News.
The 50th edition of the President's Party of the prestigious Abeokuta Club comes up on Saturday, 17th January 2026 at the Alake Hall, Abeokuta Club Presidential Boulevard, beside Central Bank of Nigeria, Ibara, Abeokuta, beginning from 12 noon. A release by the chairman publicity of the club indicated that activities lined up for this year's President Party include induction of new members and launching of the club's 2026 calendar, while on Friday, 16 January 2026, President Party Eve will hold at Showemimo Pavilion in the club's premises. The President Party Eve is organized by the members of the club, born in January, to usher in the President's Party. The president of the club, Dr. Adewale Adiola, implored all members of the club to attend this yearly get-together with their guests and well-wishers.